Are you ready to prune this weeping Japanese maple with me today? This is a Crimson Queen variety, although the pruning principles we're going to talk about apply to all weeping varieties of Japanese maples. So with Japanese maples like this one, it is important to do regular yearly pruning. That's because this tree, they grow in layers, and the canopy of the top layer can cause so much dense shade that the branches and leaves underneath can often decline or die back due to the lack of sunlight. Now, one important rule about all pruning is that we never want to remove more than 30% of a tree's live wood in any given year. Pruning off dead branches does not count in that 30% number. It's best to prune Japanese maples in a small amount regularly rather than do one big prune. Late winter is actually the best time to prune Japanese maples because the tree is still dormant and there's no leaves, so I have a clear view at all of the stems that I need to prune. Now, another rule that my arborist taught me is we do not prune trees and shrubs until they have been in this location in the ground for 3 whole years. That's because we do not want to cut away any of the canopy, the leaves, because those are like solar panels capturing sunlight, photosynthesizing food for the plant to work on its highest priority in the first 3 years, which is root development. Once it's established for 3 whole years, we start pruning in year 4 in late winter. So we yearly want to do structural pruning and cleaning up any dead, diseased, or damaged branches. Now, this is actually a perfect example. This is year 4 of the Crimson Queen. It's got nice dark red stems at the top, but all down through the bottom are a lot of white, dead looking stems. Okay, that's exactly what happens. We need to clean out the dead wood from the bottom, and remember that does not count in your 30% calculation. So I'm using hand pruners. I've sanitized them with 70% isopropyl rubbing alcohol, splash it on the blades for 30 seconds. I also like to have a bucket with me just so I can put all the dead cuttings in so I don't make a mess for myself. And you can see through here, these are all white stems. The bark should be a nice dark red, like these. See how this is a nice dark? These ones are just, you can barely, very faded, and I can snap them very easily with my hands. So, also at the bottom of the tree, we do not want stems and leaves touching the ground. So on the bottom, we definitely want to take care of lifting the canopy off the ground. So what I'm going to point out here is this down here, this whole branch completely dead, I'm going to cut back up to where that branch originates. Oh, no, I'm not, because the whole thing just snapped right off. This piece already snapped off. This whole branch originating back from the original trunk is completely dead. So I'm going to cut that off. Now down here, also completely dead. Take that whole branch off. This whole branch here, completely dead. This branch is a mixed bag. Okay, I've got some dark red live on here. I've got some dead. Well, it's up to you. You can make a decision. I might just take this whole stem all the way back because there's hardly anything live and dark on here and healthy, which would lift the canopy off the ground a little bit. That is what I'm gonna do. So this stem goes all the way over to here, nothing on it. This whole stem is nothing on it. And there's just a little bit of red on the edge. So I don't think this one's worth it. So I'm actually going to take this whole branch back. Take the little side dead one off first. Make it easier to work. Okay. So again, mostly dead. A little bit of red, but not enough to keep this much wood. Okay, so the bottom already looks way less dead. Everything down at the bottom there is dead. So this is looking much better already. Okay, so I've got two gnarly stems. This whole stem here is dead. These stems attached underneath, also all dead. Okay, back here, dead, all dead. So this guy's got lots of red. He's got red. So just the little dead piece in the middle just to make that look better. This scrawny guy. So this one under here doesn't have anything on it, so I'm going to take him all the way back. And remember, I'm not counting live wood yet because I really haven't taken any away. Everything I've taken off so far has been dead. I want to make a sharper cut there. These, oh, that was dead too. All right, we need to take that whole stem back. I thought that one looked pretty good, but it didn't in the end. That whole thing is now gone. So some dead ends here. This whole little guy here is dead. This guy is dead. So we're really just kind of teasing through every one of these stems to see what is alive. So we've got some nice branching in here. These are dead. So this branch here has live stems at the end, but this branch in the back here is completely dead. So I'm going to leave this and take this back to where it originates. Dead. Okay, this section, hardly any, just a few little ones I can get with my hands. That whole piece is not dead, so I'll just take a little, the dead part. So the end has been bitten, but there's two healthy buds right there. So I'm just going to make a sharp, clean cut, because an animal's not going to make a healthy, clean cut just above the bud. Don't damage those buds. There's going to be leaves there. So I'm just going to go through. I don't want to lose this section of leaves in here. So down here they've been eaten off. I'm going to have to take this whole stem back. So you can see this whole thing's been bitten off and there's no buds anywhere on that. So the rabbit ate that whole thing off. This stem is dead. Dead. It's dead. And that's got nothing on it, so I'm going to take this guy off. That doesn't look healthy. I'm just going to go back to a healthy node there. I'll get some growth there. Now continue through the rest of the tree, removing any dead branches. And now you'll be able to back up and have a look at the structure of the healthy branches that are left. Now, weeping trees like this often have crossing branches, which we normally want to eliminate, but I'm not removing any of these thick crossing branches. This is the growth habit of the tree. I'm just going to remove any new crossing branches and leave that original structure. So it takes a little time to get in here and figure out where these branches originate, but right here, this pretty young stem is going up and curling through the middle here. And in front, it's also going back out here. So I'm actually just gonna take this off where it originates just to try to find ways to keep this gnarly section as open as possible. This is their growing habit, and we're never gonna get away from this not being a little bit crossing. So take care of the crossing where you can, okay? So just took that away. See how it's all wrapped? So that's gonna save me some long-term rubbing and damage. Okay, so these two are pretty close to each other already. So I am going to make a decision on which one of these I want to keep. This one is going up and away. This one is kind of curving back down. So I'm gonna take the curving one away. I don't think there's a bad decision when it comes to this one, but I think they're gonna grow into each other at some point because they're so close now that as those two stems get thicker, they're going to touch each other. So I'm just gonna take that one off completely. Okay, so it's a little more open in here now, and I still haven't lost this main arching shape from the main stems. Right, this little bit in the middle in here, I don't need this scrawny little stem cause any issues with crowding in the middle. I see this guy is already rubbing on here, and he comes from way back here. Okay, so this is why it takes time to do the weeping ones, especially this is the first time it's ever been pruned. So this is going to be a lot easier to prune in subsequent years. Now we are looking at this co-dominant structure. Okay, the branch on the top and the bottom are both going in the exact same direction. They're going to compete for sun with each other, and so we want to pick the one that we want to keep. I think this top one looks nice and healthy, so I'm going to choose to remove the bottom one back to where it originates. I see an issue here where this stem is growing into this other branch, so I'm going to take this guy back to where it originates. Okay, like this stem here is going back that way. Those are dead. Now I'm going to take a different angle because looking at it from a different perspective will change the way you see things. So we've removed the dead wood, we've cleaned out all that crossing gnarly center young stems to reveal that arching main structure we're going to keep for the rest of the tree's life. Now we need to thin the canopy up top so that we can get some light down to the lower layer. Okay, so we've got two other co-dominant situations. This guy and this guy, they're all going into the same area. So I'm just gonna take one of them back. Okay, this one underneath. This one is also going in the same direction as that one above it. So I'm going to take that off. This isn't going to give me anything under here either. And now we've got these two, right, basically occupying the same space as these guys. So they're all kind of crowding each other. So we got to decide which ones we want to take out of that. I'm going to take this. Now we're pruning for aesthetics. This horizontal branch is aesthetically competing with the lines of the tree. I want this tree to have that main trunk and those curving umbrella branches over the top. And this horizontal branch, that line is taking the eye in a completely different direction. So I'm going to take this entire stem off all the way back to the trunk where it originates, make a nice clean cut. This branch down here is going completely horizontal. And so I think this whole branch has to go. So here's the pile of live wood that I took away. And this is the live wood of the tree. I do think I can take those lower branches off. Now this branch is about 1.5 to 2 inches, and if your loppers are not freshly sharpened like mine or heavy duty, you should use a hand saw to make these cuts. And now is when you want to exercise restraint. Less is more. We don't want to stress the tree out by removing too much wood. Get the dead wood out, anything diseased or damaged, crossing branches, co-dominant stems, and bring out the natural architecture of this. Please don't let your landscaper take a hedge trimmer to a Japanese maple. The whole reason why we love them so much is for every one of them having their own unique architecture. Thanks for being here. If this helped you, hit like and tell me in the comments what you're working on in your garden. Subscribe to keep growing smarter, and I'll see you in the next video.